श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। My humble obeisances to all of you. I seek the blessings of the current acharyas, the Purva acharyas, the Goswamis, Mahaprabhu and the Panchatattva. I also seek the blessings of Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna. Thank you all so much for being here. Yeah, first of all, I want to thank Her Grace Karuna Radhika Mataji for having me here. Though very undeserving, she gives an opportunity to all of us to participate in some seva or the other. And it is said that, Svantasthena Gadabritaha Tithi Kurvanti Tirthani. That means the Lord is not in pilgrimages, He is actually in the hearts of the devotees. And wherever the devotees go, that place is made a pilgrimage because in their heart is Krishna. So everyone is okay with the English? Okay. So, Radha ShyamaSundara are in the heart of Karuna Radhika Mataji, and she has given us a great opportunity to, participate in this festival, a beautiful festival. It is the 7th anniversary of her deities. Tekar Patana. Yeah, are you able to hear now? Yes. Okay. So, Mataji actually asked me to talk about two subjects. One is the greatness of Krishna, and the second thing is the sweetness of Krishna. So greatness is actually, they say that in the Bhagavad Gita, first of all the descriptions are given about the greatness in the 10th chapter and even some places in the 7th chapter. So basically, Lord's opulences are many. It's like how many waves are in the ocean if you can count. Actually, it's unlimited, right? Infinite. Similarly, the Lord's qualities and Lord's opulences are unlimited. And if somebody asks us, can you tell me the greatness of your God? We should be in a position to answer properly. At least for that purpose, we should learn a little bit about Siddhanta. Even though it is not so easy, but basics we should know. Because there are people who, come and ask us, oh, you're Krishna's devotee. But your God has got 16,108 wives. How is that? The first thing is they start like that. So basically we should know that we cannot apply the material knowledge on Krishna and Radharani. We are supposed to get married here. Marriage is not for Radharani and Krishna. Why? Because Radharani is an internal energy of Krishna. She is it's like they both are two bodies but one soul, right? So if we read some esoteric pastimes of Krishna from the 10th canto, our mind can actually go haywire in case we are still very rusty, right? So that's the reason it is said that we should read the Srimad Bhagavatam gradually from the 1st chapter to the 10th chapter, 12th chapter. And 10th chapter has got all the beautiful sweet pastimes. You all must have heard from the 1st chapter of Bhagavatam. Atra sargo visargascha sthanam poshanam putayaha manmantaresha anugata nirodho muktir ashraya. There are some 10 subjects in Srimad Bhagavatam. out of which the last one is Ashraya. That means taking shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Atra means in this Bhagavatam, Sarga Visarga. Sarga is the primary creation, Visarga is the secondary creation. Sthanam, Poshanam. Sthanam is about all the planetary systems and positions of everything. And Poshanam is the nurturing or the nourishment that the devotees get from the Bhagavatam. Sthanam, Poshanam, Utayaha. Uti is actually an impetus to create. Like Brahma got an impetus to create. We are also getting an impetus to create something here. We are creating homes, we are creating children, we are creating jobs, we are creating a lot of material things, right? Sthanam, Poshanam, Utayaha, Manvantara, Ishanu Katha. So we all know that Manu, there are 14 Manus in one Kalpa. And what do these 14 Manus do? They give the prescribed duties for humanity. So Manvantara, Ishanu Katha. It is the Lord's Katha. Ishanu Katha. Nirodho Mukti Rashraya. Nirodho means like every creation has been done, maintenance is being done. Now destruction also needs to be done. So that is Nirodho. Mukti is, we all know, it is liberation. Ashraya is actually the shelter of Sri Krishna. Now when you talk about the esoteric pastimes from the 10th canto, they are so sweet, they are so beautiful. Like whatever pastimes that Lord Krishna had with Yashoda Mata, like how he broke the pots, how he stole the butter, how he played with his friends, and all those pastimes, very, very, very sweet and beautiful. But when the Bhagavatam started, actually you know about two people, that is Badarayanaha and Badarayani. Who is Badarayana? Vyasa. Why is he called Badarayana? Because he sat under a tree called Badarayana. Ayanaha means someone who takes shelter of that tree. Okay, so he sat under a Badarayana tree and started reciting Bhagavatam. And who was actually hearing? Badarayani, that is Shukadeva Goswami was hearing. But before hearing, he was actually an impersonalist. He was a kind of Mayavadi. He believed that God did not have form. He thought Krishna did not have form. Okay? And most impersonalists have this feeling that Lord doesn't have form. Kya bekar ki baatein karte ho? We are trying to come from minus situation to 0, 0, and from 0, 0 we have to go to the positive axis. So those who are in the negative axis and who happen to come to the positive axis, you can call them the Mayavadis, because they think that this body and this mind and intelligence are the big problem. So getting rid of these things is the best thing. So that's why they think that there is no form to God. Why will Lord want to have form? That is what they think. So Badarayani, that is Shukadeva Goswami, thought like that about God. And he started going away into the forest. And that is when Vyasa Muni thought ki I have to get him back in some manner or the other. So what he did was, he sent two of his Shishyas. And he had to say something very impactful, hai na? Something like if you are in preaching and if some soul is approaching you and if they are asking you some questions and if you are not able to answer, immediately you start praying to the Supreme Lord. Ki Bhagwan, give me some intelligence to, get this soul closer to you. Bas, that is my aspiration. And Lord will actually give. He will do something, he'll make you remember something, right? So, Vyasa Muni remembered that there are some gem-like verses from 10th canto. And there is another verse from the 3rd canto. So in the 10th canto, Vyasa Muni remembered one verse and he started telling his Shishya. You all must have heard it, 10.21.5. Barha pidam natavara vapuhu karnayor karnikaram bhibrad vasaha kanaka kapisham vaijayantim chamalam Randhran Venoradhara Sudhaya Purayan Gopa Vrindai Vrindaranyam Swapadaramanam Pravishad Gita Kirtihi Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this is the verse, that first verse, that one of his Shishyas goes and tells Badarayani, that's Shukadeva Goswami. The moment he hears this about the external beauty and appearance of Krishna, Lord is wearing a peacock feather, he is wearing a Vaijayanti mala, and he is so beautiful, wearing a yellow dhoti, he is looking resplendent, and then he is moving into the Vrindavaranya forest, that is into Vrindavan, and then his footsteps are seen all over, and he is going along with a group of cowherd boys and then playing with them. So the moment he heard this external beauty of Krishna, Shukadeva Goswami started thinking, who is this boy? I mean, such a beautiful description, I want to know more. Because I thought God doesn't have form. But this is a beautiful external form description of Krishna. And the moment the first devotee said this, the second one was ready to capture Badarayani's interest even further. Then he started singing, Aho Bakiyam Sanakalakutam Jigham Shapaya Yadyapya Sadhvi Lebhe Gatim Dhatri Uchitam Tatonya Kamva Dayalum Sharanam Rajema. So this is when Krishna actually killed Putana, and when she smeared lot of poison to her breast and she gave it to Krishna, what did Krishna do? He sucked the life air out of her body, but he gave liberation. He sent her into Brahmajyoti. And the moment Badarayani heard this, he thought, wow, how can anybody be so internally beautiful? You know, external, internal. दोनों का description सुन के he turned around and then he said, I want to know more. Aniyor, I want to know more about Krishna. And then he started running backwards and he heard more about it. So this 10.21.5 is supposed to be from the Venu Gita, from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. We have 5 Gitas in the 10th canto. One is Venu Gita, one is Gopi Gita, one is Viraha Gita, one is Brahmara Gita, one is Yugala Gita. So these are the 5 Gitas, and these are very esoteric pastimes. Like when you start hearing, sometimes you get goosebumps, you know, so beautifully described by Vyasadeva. And this is actually the sweetness of Krishna. So just now Mataji, you know, Suma Mataji sang that beautiful Surdas Bhajan, and of course Deepa Mataji and Bhakti Lata Mataji also sang some beautiful kirtans. They took us into a different echelon. Why? Because the kirtan has the potency, and of course even the purity of the singer. It changes our heart. It has an impact on the heart. So she sung the Surdas Bhajan, which is actually by a blind person, right? Our general concept is blind people cannot see, so how can they do bhakti? But actually they can do better bhakti than us. Because understanding can be at 3 levels. One is knowledge, one is culture, but the highest is devotion. Normally, because we are raised in Sanskriti wala families, in the Vedic situation wala families, we learn lot about Krishna from our childhood. Okay, so anybody in India, if you give Bhagavad Gita, they'll say, I don't need Bhagavad Gita antar. Enduko? Because everyone knows about Krishna here, whatever, at least little. At least they know that he is Makanchod. Right? So we all know about Krishna, so that's the reason why that knowledge and culture is already within us. Devotion, it takes us time because we are all distracted. But the blind people actually, they have no distractions. They're like, you know, when you start speaking about Krishna, their eyes are closed. Their complete attention is on Shravanam. So directly from the heart it goes into, from the ears it goes into their heart. We all have heard. Shrinvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Hridayantasto hi abhadrani vidunoti sahrid satam. That means whatever knots of attachment we have in the heart are cut out when we start hearing properly. So hearing is the first process. That's exactly what Shukadeva Goswami did. That's exactly what Surdas did. And now I am going to talk about another blind person who is Bilva Mangal Thakur. We all know about him, so I will not tell his story. But he became blind because he pierced his own eyes since he was lusty by seeing a woman, and he got attached and attracted so much that he spent all his energy and life on that prostitute. But she guided him, and then he came back to senses, and he thought, now I should not get distracted. So let me focus more on Krishna. So he sang one very beautiful shloka. It goes like this. Madhuram madhuram vapurasya vibhor, madhuram madhuram vadanam madhuram. Madhu, I don't remember the third line. The last line is madhuram 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 madhuram. The first line says madhuram madhuram 2 times. The second line says 3 times when he is talking about the vadanam, that is the face of Krishna. And the first line he described the vapurasya, the beautiful body of Krishna. And in the third line actually he describes the madhusmita, that means the beautiful smile of Krishna. I don't remember the Sanskrit words, but he describes about the madhusmita, how beautifully Lord smiles. And because he described the smile, he says the smile is madhuram, 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 madhuram. So 4 times madhuram. So Lord is actually so very sweet. And when we hear about the pastimes from his childhood, whether it is Damodar Leela or any Leela where he did Makhan Chori, and there are some Leelas where he grew up a little and then he started having close association with Srimati Radharani. So first we will discuss few pastimes, and then we will switch to the difficult subject, that is greatness of Krishna, about all the avatars of Krishna. So that I will take only for 10 minutes because one needs to really put their mind in it to understand. But even if you don't understand, absolutely not a problem. If we know about sweetness of Krishna, that's more than sufficient. Whatever little greatness we know from Bhagavad Gita, that is more than enough. About the opulences, that 81 opulences we all heard about in 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that is enough. Now let's talk about what Radharani and Krishna did in Vrindavan. I'm sure everybody's ears are raised now because it's about Radharani, because it's their anniversary, Radha ShyamaSundara. I'm trying to talk about it because whenever Srila Prabhupada spoke about Radhashtami lectures, you must have heard, he spoke very little about Radharani. Because it is said that when Krishna heard the first word Ra, with that only he became very, very internally emotional. And the moment he hears Dha also, he falls down flat. So because it's like he keeps thinking, who is this Radharani? And why is this Radharani loving me so much? How can anyone love so much? And what does it feel like? Pyar kya hota hai? Because I am only here receiving from everybody. But all these devotees and Radharani, they are actually giving. And in giving, they are feeling so happy. How will that be? And that part will come to later. But Radharani actually has some of the beautiful pastimes in Vrindavan along with her Sakhis and Krishna. And of course Krishna along with his Gopas. So once when Krishna was a young boy, he just went to Radharani and the Gopis and said, see, you have such beautiful pearls with you. I also want. Then the Sakhis asked, why do you want the pearls? Then he said, I want to decorate my cows. Then the pearl said, what are you talking? These pearls are so expensive and गाय को आप पहनाओगे ये सब? We are not going to give you. So then he asked, okay, tell me from where did you purchase? So the gopis went into a humorous mood. They said, नहीं हमने ये तो घर में उगाया. We grew them in our house. So then Krishna thinks, अच्छा, pearls can be grown. Then I will grow my pearls and I will take care of my cows. Go, I will not ask for pearls. He went home and then he asked Yashoda Mata, Amma, please can you give me pearls? Then mother said, why do you want pearls? He tells the whole story, I want to decorate my cows. And the gopis have actually grown pearls. I also want to do it. Then Yashoda Mata says, this boy is going to waste all the pearls. But anyway, he is very stubborn. I'll have to give him. So she gives him some pearls. What he does is, he goes, puts the pearls in that front yard, and then he starts putting milk and water and curd and anything and everything precious to the pearls on the ground to grow plants. And to everyone's surprise, actually, the plants start growing. And in a few days, the pearls also grow in the plants. And then he plucks, did you all hear this story? Yeah. And then he plucks all the pearls, makes beautiful garlands, and then he decorates his cows. And the gopis get to know, Acha, you grew pearls and we only gave you the idea and now you are chalu, huh? Then they come and say, Acha, we are also going to grow pearls. If you don't give, it's okay, we'll also grow. So they put all pearls to grow them. But they put lot of curd, ghee, butter, everything, but nothing happens. In a few days, but they see some small sprouts and they start feeling happy. अरे यार हमारे यहाँ भी ना अच्छे sprouts कर रहे हैं, tomorrow we'll have pearls. But suddenly they see कि कुछ दिनों में all the cactus plants grow and all the thorns grow out of the pearls. And then they start crying, oh, what has happened. And then they go to Krishna and say, what did you do differently? How come the pearls grew in your home and not in ours? So like this, beautiful pastimes. Can we imagine pearls growing into plants and again reaping a harvest of pearls, right? But because it is Krishna and whatever he thinks, all the Sri Devi, Bhudevi, Neela Devi and all the energies, Parasya Shaktir, Vividaiva Shruyate, all energies are at the service of Krishna, and any time he wants something, he just has to order all his Shaktis and they will start working as per his desire. So once what happened was, Yashoda Mata was actually calling Radharani every day to her home to cook for Krishna. So Radharani was married to a person called Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu is none other than a shadow incarnation of Krishna only. Okay, for that matter, who have a doubt ki how can Radharani marry anybody? How didn't she say no and all? हमारे दिल में आता है ये. So I'm just preempting that thought. So she married Abhimanyu, who is a shadow incarnation of Krishna. But however, she had the most intimate pastimes and relationship with Krishna only. So she had a mother-in-law called Jatila and her Kutila was the sister-in-law. So they both thought, this lady goes to Krishna each and every day to cook for him. She is married to my brother. How she is going every day? So then they both plot, a plan. And they tell Radharani, you cannot go. You have to stay here only and take care of us and Abhimanyu. So then Radharani feels very, very sad and she starts crying. Ki nahi, I'll just do small seva and come back. Mujhe jaane dijiye. They don't allow. So Radharani falls very sick and she has a very high temperature and she's burning with fever. And then they ask, we have to get a doctor, and undino there were no lady doctors. But Radharani cunningly said, I want a lady doctor only, don't call any male. Huh? And then they went and searched, no lady doctor. So they brought one doctor, and the doctor was like, nicely covered and he was in a different, attire. It was actually Krishna, but he came in disguise of some doctor. And then he started saying, Arey, तुम लोग तो मुझे ही देख रहे हो ऐसे. How can I treat the lady? You are actually making me nervous. एक काम करता हूँ, because she is not getting up. The moment they put water on her face, she was like blabbering something and she saw Krishna and she again fell down. And then they said कि चलो हम ना इनको we'll take her inside. So they took her into a room and the doctor said, देखो, you are disturbing me a lot. Some snake has bitten her and I'll have to treat her. All the poison has to be taken out. So he closes the door and then he says, अच्छा बोलो तुमको कौन से सांप ने काटा, like that he keeps asking. All the drama is going on and from outside Jatila and Kutila are hearing like that, क्या हो रहा है अंदर. And then Radharani says, I don't know what has happened, but I am feeling that viraha. I am not doing any seva because Durvasa Muni gave me this boon, and because of which my mother, she sends me to some of the best people to cook, because it is said that for whomever I cook, their lifespan increases. And Yashodama actually, requested me, so I cook for Krishna. So then he said, because you stopped cooking for Krishna, all this is happening. That snake has bitten you because of that. Okay? So now what you need to do is go back and cook for Krishna. And from outside, Jatila and Kutila are hearing. And then she says, no, I can't do because I am married. Then Krishna says, how can your sister-in-law and mother-in-law stop you from going? They cannot stop. If they stop, they will die very soon. And then from outside they are hearing, Baapre, hamara to death likha hai. Ye Brahman, this doctor is, taking our death certificate only from Radharani. And then he gets very scared. Both get very scared. And then from outside they know, no, let her go from today only. She can serve Krishna. Like that. And so beautifully, Radharani from inside, she says, okay, if I can serve Krishna, then I'm happy. And then Radharani and Krishna are nicely hugging each other, kissing each other, and very happy with each other. So, okay, but these should not be taken in a negative sense because, or in a lusty sense. Because even gopis, they have that love for Krishna minus the lust. It is we who have lust. Hence, we are told, marry one person. Okay? But we should not apply the same theory to Krishna and say, how can Krishna marry 16,108 then? Even he should marry only one. No. Something like एक मिठाई वाले के दुकान में आप जाओगे and he'll have lot of sweets in jars. Okay? You cannot go to the mithai wala and say, hey, you ate one sweet, so put the money in your, galla. And the shopkeeper will say, why should I put money in my own galla? ये मेरा दुकान है, मैं खा लूँगा, कभी भी खा लूँगा, जितना चाहे उतना खा लूँगा. So these things or theories, rules do not apply to Krishna. So similarly, when he is actually in love with the gopis, we are seeing them in the lady form over here in this material world. But actually the soul is a feminine gender. So whether the soul is in a man's body or a female body, it is actually a feminine. That means there is only one Purusha who is Krishna, and the remaining everyone, even the men here, they are all feminine. Okay? So basically we should understand that Krishna has no rules and regulations. And this way, there are so many beautiful pastimes of Krishna when Krishna is playing with his friends one time. And all the friends say, कि देख अभी ना तुमको गधा बनना पड़ेगा. And then Krishna says, Gadha? How can I be a donkey? No, I'll not be a donkey. And then they keep telling, you killed a donkey also, you killed many asuras. And just for drama's sake, what is the problem in being a donkey? Krishna says, okay, I'll do one thing. My father is actually king of 9 lakh cows. Na? I don't mind being a cow. But please don't ask me to be a donkey. Then they say, see, if you are not going to be a donkey, we'll not play with you. Go. And then Krishna says, all right, theek hai. Krishna thinks that if I go away, they'll call me back. So he goes to the side and then he's looking at them. And they are not bothered. They are nicely playing together. एक गधा बना, एक घोड़ा बना, एक कुत्ता बना, कुछ बन रहे वो लोग और अच्छे से खेल रहे. And then Krishna looks at them and he's waiting कि कब ये लोग बुलाएंगे. They don't call. And they are also enjoying. Krishna wants to play with us, but will not call. Finally Krishna comes to them and he says, no, see, you're all my sweet friends. No, ठीक है कोई बात नहीं. मैं गधा बन जाता. And just imagine what kind of a person is becoming a gadha. I mean, just for the drama's sake also. Just now Mataji was telling how a charioteer is kicked from the right and left and Krishna has to, move according to the kicks of the person who is sitting in the chariot. So Krishna is Bhakta Vatsala. He is like so loving to all of us. And Krishna's heart is full of love only and only compassion. That's the reason why he will actually keep depositing the Bhakti Sukruti for all of us. Actually, we do not have much Sukruti. Much kya? No Sukruti. Bhakti Sukruti is something very difficult. We have something called Papa and Punya. 2 bags. Ek Paap ka bag, ek Punya ka bag. And these are all both called Sanchita Karma. Like we keep doing wrong things, negative बढ़ता जाएगा. And good things, positive बढ़ता जाएगा. We'll take a birth and we'll keep reaping the effects. कभी पुण्य आया, लॉटरी लग गया, पैसा आ गया, अच्छा जॉब आ गया, बहुत खूब prosperous बन गए. And then पाप इतना किया कि भयंकर डिसीज आ गया, कुछ ना कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है, person loses health, wealth, prosperity, everything like that. But there is something called a bag of Sukruti, Bhakti Sukruti, that comes only by the mercy of devotees. Just like we are all sitting here, this home of Karuna Radhika Mataji is being used for Bhakti Sukruti addition. Our Bhakti Sukruti is getting filled. One kirtan that Mataji did and we followed, some Sukruti got added. We just took the darshan of the deities, some coins got added. So like that, even the prasadam that we are going to partake after the class, that is also added. So like this, even just the fact that we are in each other's association here, our bag is full. So this is the mahima of association. So this Bhakti Sukruti is actually starting with Agnata. Unknowingly we do something. Jagannath ka rath ja raha hai, we just look at it and we think, "Arey, bahut acha hai." That's all. That little appreciation. The only thing is one should not be atheistic. See, if I don't believe in God and I just look at the cart going, I will not get Bhakti Sukruti. Let me tell you this. Madhuri Kadimani very clearly states that if you are positive, if you are not negative, if you are at least positive, thinking that acha koi kar raha hai, bahut acha kar raha hai, and beautiful deities, how colorful they are looking, like that, or what beautiful colors are adorned on them, that also has added Bhakti Sukruti. So that Sukruti will actually make us meet one devotee sometime. And because the devotees have Krishna in their heart, they are the only ones who can give bhakti to us. Anything can be bought, but not bhakti. And bhakti will come only by Krishna's mercy, of course, but more because of the bhakta's mercy. Because sometimes it happens, it happened with me too. There are many places where I am called to do something over there, at least some katha or whatever. A death happened and somehow I didn't do kirtan there. I myself don't know why I didn't do kirtan. And I was like wondering कि क्यों मैंने ऐसे नहीं किया. And then I understood that these are all like very closely associated family members and they take note of each and every activity that a devotee does, and today they may actually criticize me. I don't really mind. Even if they curse, it doesn't matter. Krishna is there to take care. But the point is, they will get this kind of a feeling about every devotee whom they will meet. I was more careful about that internally, and that's the reason I didn't do. For some reason or the other, how much compassion we all have at that moment, that may not come out. Okay? So it may be the Paramatma in your heart who is actually reciprocating with the Paramatma in the heart of those people, and that's the reason that kind of connection doesn't happen and we don't do what we are actually supposed to do. But it doesn't matter. Krishna actually doesn't curse us for that, because he gives the free will to us and he says, do whatever, tum karo apna kuch bhi. So it's like the compassion and the bhakti that goes, and that is how from the heart of a devotee the bhakti is planted in each one of our hearts. The moment we make a beginning, and then all such programs and hearing and studying, everything that we do in bhakti, that takes us to the next step. So what happens is, Madhurya Kadambini also says that if you start doing bhakti, all your sanchita karma gets burnt off. Burnt off how? Just like you take a huge, big, what should I say, cart of cotton, and you put a spark of fire in it. What happens? Bhag. Everything is burned. Like that, sanchita karma goes away. Agami karma is definitely there. Agami means, what am I doing now? We had a choice to be here. We had a choice to, we all have Netflix, Prime, I don't know what all channels. Mere ghar mein to sab hai, but I don't watch. Okay? I have a choice to watch them, and I had a choice to come here. The choice is your present karma, which is called Agami karma. And because we are hearing about Radha ShyamaSundara and Radha Krishna, whatever name you give to them, and because of that, our Bhakti Sukriti gets filled. So by hearing both about the sweetness of Krishna and also the greatness of Krishna. So this is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. And we don't have to do any big tapasya for this. There is a shloka, no? Aradhito yadi hari tapas tatha kim, naradhito yadi hari tapas tatha kim, antar bahir yadi hari tapas tatha kim, nantar bahir yadi hari tapasa tatha kim. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So what does that shloka mean? Aradhito yadi hari tapas tatakim. That means, if you are a worshipper of Krishna, what is the need to do tapas? There's no need to become an Ashtanga yogi, take yoga classes for 1 hour, 2 hours and try to be a yogi. Of course, pranayam, little bit of physical exercises are done, but that will not lead to bhakti. Okay? So if you do that, what is the point? You're already a bhakta, so no need to do tapasa. Naradhito yadi hari tapas tatha kim. That means if you are not a devotee of Krishna, then what is the use of doing all this tapas? Bekar ho gaya na. And then it says, antar bahir yadi hari yadi hari tapas tatha kim. Which means, if you have a realization that Krishna is within and without, then what is the use to do tapas? No problem. You don't need to do. And it also says, if you don't realize that Krishna is inside and outside, kya fayda itna tapas karke? No, you don't have to do any tapas. So there is another beautiful shloka which says, tapasvino danapara yashasvino mantravida sumangalaha क्षेमं न विन्दन्ति विना यदर्पणं तस्मै सुभद्रश्रवसे नमो नमः. Tapasvino, Danapara, Yashasvino, Mantravida, Sumangalaha. That means you may be a tapasvi, you may be a mantra chanter, like Vedic chanter of, so many hymns, you may be a mystic, you may be a great philosopher, you may be a Danapara, you may be a very charitable person. But, oh Krishna, I bow down to you. What is the use if I don't dedicate my services to you, is what this shloka says. That means if there is no element of bhakti in our activities, then it cannot take us closer to Krishna. So just because we are hearing about Krishna's sweetness, there is a kind of purification that happens in our heart. Just because we heard, thoda sa sun liya na, usse what happened? Something like you imagine that you are washing utensils at home. Very greasy, dirty utensils, okay? बहुत जल्दी गया आज सब्जी. And then what do we do? Scrub and nicely put that detergent and nicely wash it under water. थोड़ा फिर भी रह जाता है ना? And again you take, again you scrub. Similarly, our hearts are filled with so much of dirt from so many births. And all that has to be cleansed. What has to be cleansed actually? Just now I told in Madhurya Kadamini, it says all your past karmas are burnt off. Then you might ask me, अरे माता जी कौन सा कर्मा? अभी तो आपने बोला कर्मा तो निकल गया. It's actually our propensity to sin. Our propensity means our ability to do wrong things, right? We are all having a certain mindset. We are used to, like, the force of habit will make us do certain things though we don't want to do. Just like Arjuna asked in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna ko pucha na, कि Krishna, I don't want to do these things, but somehow I'm impelled to sin. Like that. We are walking on the floor. After becoming devotee, we try to look here and there, no? Especially when we go to Vrindavan and other places, कि कहीं चीटियाँ तो नहीं है. How did we get that consciousness? Because we have been told, even unknowingly, if you do something like that, it's going into your agami bag. Again you are filling, again birth, again death. नहीं चाहिए. तो इसीलिए what we should do? At least be conscious of not making mistakes, not hurting people, not doing wrong things, not telling lies, not killing any animals, like that. So similarly, we also have to make a mindful decision on doing bhakti. Now we will slowly, gradually move to the greatness of Krishna. I thought I wrote a lot of things. I didn't even refer. Okay. आप लोगों को देख के पूरा कथा अपने आप आ गया. Thanks to Radha ShyamaSundara. Yeah, and one beautiful thing I missed. Once what happens is, Narsinghadev, actually when he saves Prahlad Maharaj, this is a beautiful story, I really love this. He saves Prahlad Maharaj and he thinks, Arey, Prahlad is sitting in my lap so nicely, he's so happy. How I wish I also sit in a father's lap. He feels like that. So that's the little reason why he becomes Lord Rama. And then he sits in the lap of Dashrath Maharaj. And then when he becomes Rama, he gets two more desires. He thinks, Arey, whomever I see, Hanuman आके पैर पड़ जाता है, सुग्रीव आके पैर पड़ जाता है, कोई भी आके पैर पड़ जाते हैं. But actually I want to be a friend. Actually we crave for being friends, right?
and especially जितना हम senior अगर होते रहते हैं तो everybody comes and gives respect, we don't like it. We want to be friends with everybody, right? So similarly, Rama had a feeling, I want to have lot of friends. Huh? And the second desire that he got was, in the forest of Dandakaranya, lot of Brahmanas came. And they wanted to be the wives of, Rama, right? So in the next birth, they all became the gopis. So in the next birth, Krishna had gopis and he also lot of gopa and gopi friends, right? And he is not like God there. He is like a mundane boy. अच्छे से खेल रहा है, सबके साथ कूद रहा है and all that. So Krishna's desire got fulfilled there also. Then Krishna got a desire. Arey, how is this Radha Rani enjoying so much? How are these devotees enjoying? अरे जिसको देखो हरे कृष्णा गा रहे हैं अच्छे से, they are like, lovingly calling me out. I want to be like them. And that's when he became Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is something which touched my heart, the sequence I mean to say. So Lord also desires, not just us. Today, Radha ShyamaSundara actually wanted to see us also. It's not just that we wanted to have his darshan. He also wants to see us. He also wants to see कि कौन कितना अच्छे से सज धज के आया है. Actually, it's not wrong. When you go to Krishna, no, you should nicely dress up. अच्छे से jewelry पहनो, because it is for Krishna, right? It is not for our material lust. So we need not be very humble and come in a simple cotton saree. जरूरत नहीं है. Festival भगवान का है तो अच्छे से सज धज के जाओ. Because Krishna is also seeing. And then if we go like this, कि घर में कुछ हो गया, अच्छा ठीक है चलो यहाँ आए हैं. Not like that. घर में सबका आई टेल यू, सबका कुछ ना कुछ है ही. जस्ट लाइक दैट आराधितो वाला श्लोक है ना, तपस किया फिर भी वही, तपस नहीं किया फिर भी वही. सिमिलरली वी आर इन ह्यूमन फॉर्म ऑफ लाइफ. तो आई टेल यू, ईदर वी हैव प्रॉब्लम विद द हस्बैंड और द चिल्ड्रन और रिलेटिव्स और नेबर्स और एनीबडी, they will create problem. Don't worry. So all we need to understand is ये तो रहना ही है. Why should I give my attention to these things? The focus should immediately turn to Krishna. The moment we get into any trouble, the first person we should remember is the Lord. Because actually these experiences are teaching us to move closer to Krishna. Because right now we are hearing about sweetness of Krishna, so we are very happy. When we get to know about the greatness, we should not get bewildered. कि अरे ये कौन से भगवान है, मतलब इतना सारा है क्या, can I actually reach him? No, we as devotees we should remember the sweetness. Now coming to the greatness, actually the Lord has something called Swayam Rupa. Swayam Rupa is his original form in Krishna Loka as a cowherd boy. He is happy there with his devotees and he has nothing to do with any of us. Because eternally, somewhere at some point of time, we got separated and we came here. Actually, we didn't fall down. It is said by the acharyas that hum gire nahi yahan pe. Eternally, we have been here as Nityabhattas, but we have a chance to get back to our original position as Nityasiddha. Okay? So, to become Nitya Siddhas, all we need to do is cleanse our heart by all these things. अच्छा कीर्तन्स माताजी कर रहे हैं, दीपा माताजी, सुमा माताजी, कृष्णवेणी माताजी, नम्रता माताजी, they're all singing. First thing we should think is, अरे they are actually making an effort to take us closer to Krishna. So all we need to do is focus on the Harinam, keep singing. Have prasadam, think about Krishna. First thing is, all the junk in the head should be out. Krishna in, junk out. People out, Krishna in. And if it is devotees, of course, they have to be in our mind too. Krishna in the Goloka as Swayam Rupa. And then Krishna also keeps expanding. Okay? And when he actually has to make some material worlds for our happiness. Because it's we who came here, right? Something like हम अच्छा सात्विक भोजन कर रहे हैं, suddenly we feel like eating some namkeen, some sweet, some पता नहीं क्या क्या बीच में junk हम खाते रहते हैं. At least I do a lot in between. So basically we are eating सात्विक खाना, junk भी खा लिया. उसी तरह से we were actually in Krishna Loka, but we had a desire to enjoy away from Krishna. and we had that proprietorship, controllership and enjoyership, due to which we have come here. So but Krishna in his loka, in his original form, and he had to expand and incarnate into this material world because we have to be taken care of. Krishna doesn't leave us. Just like, sometimes your child is learning to bicycle पे जाना, उसने सीखना शुरू किया, practicing bicycle. So what happens? He might say, छोड़ दो मुझे, I want to be on my own. Still what do we do? Kind of hold. We don't totally leave, so that we take care. Just like that, Krishna is also in our heart as Kshirodakasha Vishnu form. Okay? And he is of this size. In the heart region, there is some air, prana. Prana is there. In the prana, Krishna is floating as Kshirodakasha Vishnu. In everyone's heart, there is one Kshirodakasha Vishnu. How? You might say, sun एक ही होता है, moon एक ही होता है, भगवान भी एक ही होना चाहिए ना? एक ही है, but he can stay in each one of our hearts. Just like you see the moon, and then you have 100 pots of water, and the moon's reflection is seen in all the 100 pots. Just like that, हमारे दिलों में भी कौन से भगवान है? क्षीरोदकाशाय विष्णु रूप में Krishna is there. So when Krishna is in that loka, he is still taking care of us here. Krishna, to the extent that even when we go to hell, Krishna follows us. So sad, na? When we go into the body of a pig, of a dog, or any animal, Krishna is still there in the Kshirodakasha Vishnu form. And before this expansion, or before this incarnation, actually, there are a lot of expansions which we need to know. First is Swayam Rupa, that is actually the original form as the cowherd boy in Vrindavan. जैसे वृंदावन में, गोलोक वृंदावन में है, यहाँ पे भी थे, वैसे he is there. And the second thing is Swayam Prakasha. Swayam Prakasha is actually his own manifestations. So Swayam Prakash में there are two things. One is Prabhava Prakash. Just keep hearing. You don't even have to note it down. I'll just send a screenshot if you wish to. Okay. And the second thing is Vaibhav Prakasha. Vaibhav Prakasha is Lord Balram. Balram is not exact same copy of Krishna, though he is a complete expansion. Plenary means what? Complete. Plenary comes from the word complete. Complete means pura ka pura. It's just the color complexion of Balram is different. But बाकी सब बलराम और कृष्ण में सेम है. बलराम is that way a little healthy, okay, and he is more strong, and that is in order to exercise his pastimes to a certain extent in some way. Okay, so this Vaibhav Prakash is Balaram, and in Prabhav Prakash actually Krishna expands into 16,108, right? Same exact form, na? When we were, Narada Muni went to Dwaraka in Srimad Bhagavatam, when we read, in all the palaces, Krishna is in the same form. That is called Prabhava Prakash. Vaibhava Prakash is what? Balarama. And then there is something called Tad Ekatma Rupa. And what is Tad Ekatma Rupa? This is also similar to what Balaram's form is. That means the mood is different, but the form is also different in Tad Ekatma. Not like Balaram, sorry. It is like you have the same potential but with a different mood and in a different form. And in the spiritual world, Krishna is expanding and expanding and expanding. Now you might say, Mataji, what is this expansion? If Krishna expands so much, क्या उनका originality खत्म नहीं हो जाएगा क्या? Krishna vanish नहीं हो जाएंगे क्या? No. It is actually explained by Srila Prabhupada that if you have one candle which is lit up, and if you want to light up so many other candles, all you need to do is take all the candles closer, एक को light up कर दो. But will the original candle lose its light? Will the other candles, also lose? They won't lose. They have got, this candle is also lit up, the other candles are also lit up. Similarly, even Krishna, when he wants to expand in the spiritual world, because spiritual world may be, there are souls, no? Vaikuntha Lokas mein, people want to worship him as Lord Vishnu. They don't want to see him as Krishna. They want to see him as Vishnu. So there, Krishna has to expand into Vasudeva, Aniruddha, Pradyumna and Sankarshana. Like that, again from each of the Vasudeva form, another 4. Like that, 4 into 3, 12 forms. And then from those 12 also, some more expansions are happening. There are 24, and from those 24 expansions, in all the Vaikuntha planets, there is one expansion of Vishnu Rupa. Why Krishna is doing that? Because Krishna does not want to go as himself into each one of those planets. And each one of those planets has got so many souls who want to see Krishna in a certain form. Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, all the four embellishments in his hands are in different positions in each one of the lokas. So Krishna is in Vishnu Rupa in the Vaikuntha Loka. Krishna also has Ram Darbar there. Krishna is as Narsimha Avatar in Goloka. That means around Goloka, around the world of Goloka, Krishna is in each one of the planets in a certain form. Why? Because the Jivas want to worship him in that particular form. Okay?
Are
So,
those called Vaikuntha planets?
yes, they are all called Vaikuntha planets. Just like the lotus has got all petals, right? Each petal you can imagine, around the petals, periphery also, there are some planets. In each one of the planets, there is one Vishnu Rupa. Done? Yahan tak samajh aaya? So, from Tadekatma Rupa, there is something called Swamsha. And there is also something called Vilasa. Vilasa are actually the first quadruple form of Vishnu. I mean, coming from Krishna only. First quadruple forms are, just now we all said, Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Aniruddha, Pradyumna. Okay? That is the first quadruple form. From the first quadruple form, another quadruple form comes. From there, I just described that 24 Vishnus have come. So, first one is Vilasa, and from Vilasa, the second quadruple form is called Prabhava Vilasa. Okay? And from Tadekatma Rupa again, Balaram has expanded to Swamsha. Actually, some scriptures say that from the second quadruple form, the Sankarshan is actually expanding to Narayana or Mahavishnu. From Mahavishnu is are coming all the Swamshas or the manifestations which are partial, which are not complete. Everything that is there in Krishna will not be in them. And who all are they? They are actually Leelavatar, Purushavatar, Gunavatar, Shaktaveshavatar, Manvantavatar and Yugavatar. We all know how many yugas are there. Chatur Yuga. 4 yugas together are called either a Mahayuga or a Divya Yuga. And this way, 1000 Divya Yugas are equal to 1 Kalpa. 1 Kalpa is equal to 12 hours of Brahma. Like this, 12 plus 12, that is 2 Kalpas are equal to 1 complete 24 hours of Brahma. Like that, he lives for 360 days. So 1 day is equal to 2 kalpa. Can you imagine 360 into 2 kalpas will be some 311 trillion years or something like that. So it's a huge lifespan. But after every 12 hours of Brahma, there is a mini destruction. And mini destruction means all these buildings, everything will be there. The jivas will go into Mahavishnu's Kukshi and they'll again come back. Okay? That means the entire destruction of the planets is not done. Visarga will remain. Only the jivas will go and come back. Okay, so during that time, when they come back, there are some rakshasas, some demons who are, creating problem for the jivas. So that is the reason why Krishna comes as Varahadev. When Lord descends from the spiritual world as one avatar. Avatar means when he descends to this material world, it is called an avatar. But when he is expanding in Goloka, that means his plenary expansions there are called Amshas. Amshas are different from Kalas. Kalas means here we are plenary portions to plenary portions. That means expansions of Krishna are again coming as avatar. That means expansions can become avatar. But avatar cannot become expansion. Okay? So like this Leela avatar we have so many of the avatars, like every yuga we see the Matsya, Kurma, Rama, Narsimha, Vamana, Varaha, etc. And then Purusha avatar also we know that there are 3 Purushas, no? Garbhodakashai, Vishnu. First is Karanodakashai. From Karanodakashai the expansion who comes is called Garbhodakashai Vishnu. In each one of the universes there is one Garbhodakashai Vishnu. From him comes a Kamala, that is from the Nabi comes a Kamala. In the Kamala we have a Brahma. Some Brahmas have 4 heads. Our Brahma has got 4 heads. Some Brahma has 1 lakh heads. One has 100 also. Then you must be thinking, what is this? Lakh heads are little possible, you must be thinking. Just like a centipede, it has got 100 legs, no? And how big is that?
Small.
Small only. So why can't Brahma have lakh heads? Right? So we have to, for everything there cannot be an example, but whatever the Shastras define, we should understand who such hai he. We may not be able to understand. Just like if an atheist comes and argues, no, your definition is somewhat different and it is not correct, I can't accept it. Say something like the depth of the ocean. I have a 5 centimeter scale at home and I have learned science, I have learned maths and arithmetic, and if I say, no, with arithmetic please tell me, with this 5 centimeter scale only you have to give me the depth of the ocean. I will not take in sea level, pata nahi kya kya tum bolte ho, वैसा मुझे नहीं मानना है. What will you say? Keep your knowledge to yourself. If you can't understand from this domain, or if you can't expand your intelligence to your spiritual intelligence, then there are some subjects that you will never understand. Okay? So like that. So these Purushavasaras, Garbhodakasha Vishnu is coming, and then he is creating so many Brahmas in all the universes, and all the Garbhodakasha Vishnus are lying in each one of the universe in the Viraja river, and there is one Durga, one Shiva, and all other demigods also in each one of the universes. And there are 14 planetary systems in each universe. And in each universe, there are 84 lakhs of species. And in the Bhurloka, we are all here in the Bhurloka. Bhurloka doesn't mean just one Bhu planet. There are many planets, among which our Bhurloka is a tiny speck of dust. And uske andar, I am thinking I am important. So, we are all in this small Bhurloka. And from this Bhurloka, we have a chance or a choice to go down or to come up. जैसे कोई भी बिल्डिंग में हमें 100th फ्लोर चढ़ना है, from which floor will you start climbing up? Ground floor. Suppose you want to go to the basement, from which floor will you go? Bhuloka is like that. If you want to go to Krishna's Loka, come to the ground. वहीं पे lift ले लो. Don't take the staircase. If you have an elevator, please take the elevator, because tapasvino, danapara, yashasvino, just now we learned, if you want to do tapasya and then keep on climbing, वो possible नहीं रहेगा. Just have darshan of ShyamaSundar, just have prasadam, and chanting is the most important thing. It is like the rope. The Guru has come and thrown the rope to us. We just have to hold it tightly and then get pulled out of the material world. So यहाँ भूलोक से निकलना है तो only thing, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. That's it. So simple. And then we have something called someone called Kshirodakasha Vishnu, because in Purushavasaras you have Mahavishnu, and then Garbhodakasha Vishnu, and then Kshirodakasha Vishnu. Kshirodakasha Vishnu is in every jiva's heart. Amoeba, bacteria, to any other jiva, all the 84 lakhs of species has the Kshirodakasha Vishnu in their heart. And the next is Gunavataras. We are all affected by the modes here. We all agree, Sattva, Rajo and Tamogun, we are all affected, right? So if we have to come above the Tama, Raja and Sattva Guna and transcend to Divya or Shuddha Sattva, then what do we do? Shuddha Sattva में आने के लिए हमें chanting करना है, but we also have to actually pray to these Gunavataras. Like you can pray to Brahma, you can pray to Saraswati, you can pray to other gods also. But how? If you go to Saraswati, you should say, please, I want to learn the Shastras nicely and I want to serve Krishna. You can go to Basara, you can go to any demigod's temple. But the kind of worship that you should do is different. Okay? So, Krishna consciousness does not mean don't worship or don't bhajo mat, temple mat jao. Nah. You can go to the temple, but you just have to worship in a different way. You have to see them as servants of Krishna, like that we can go. And we can pray to each and every god. If you want money, you can say, Krishna, I want to buy that for you. Say 100-floor wala building for you. No problem. Krishna will grant. And actually, why is it that people are building all those big buildings in Dubai and other countries? Because they have a desire. What desire? Material desire. We can also desire for Krishna. कि Abbott's temple इवाले support लेदो, no parking, no place to even step. So what we should think? It will be very difficult in the future. So we want a big temple. We can pray. We can pray, Krishna, see, I don't have the money, but I have the will, I have the intent to give or to do some donation. So you give me some intelligence to earn money and do for you. That is not wrong. The desire or the intention is what Krishna says. It may or may not happen. I'll tell you another thing. Your intention may be strong and good, but it may not get converted into reality. And when it doesn't happen to a reality, do we think, oh, see, I asked, but Krishna didn't accept. Will we think like that? No. We should think that Krishna has a bigger plan for me. My plan A did not work because plan B, Krishna ka hai. Krishna's plan is bigger than our plan. Always remember, when something goes out of your hands, slips out of your hands, it's like you should understand, Krishna wants me to do something great and magnanimous for him. Okay. People might come and say, why did the devotee do that with you? Hey, how are you not feeling bad? Mataji, what they did is very bad. Being devotees, why did they do like that? What we should think? Should we say, हाँ उसने गलत किया मेरे साथ? No. We should always think, no. That devotee must have been planted by Krishna. That's why this happened with me. And something good, something bigger is going to happen in my life because of this particular thing. So like this, we can pray to all the Gunavataras like Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. For what? To take us beyond this three modes into Shuddha Sattva. Then there is something called Shaktavesha Avtaras. And we all have heard about, the four Kumaras, Narada, Brahma, Ananta, Shesha, Prithu, Parshuram, right? These are all Shaktavesha Avtaras. But in Bhagavad Gita, Lord tells that I am the taste in water, I am that, sun and the moon, and among all the illuminating objects, I am the sun. Among the sages, I am the Brihaspati. Like that, he gives so many things, right? And among Narana, what is Narana? Among the human beings, he told something. And among demigods, Indra. Like that. He tells that, I am the guiding principle, I am the most important principle in everyone, and I am the one who is actually to be seen in the most accomplished things or people. Like Meru Nam, what is that? Among the mountains is the Meru, Parvatanam Meru. So like that. So when you see the Meru, you say, so beautiful. It's all Krishna's energy. Actually, the mountains have wings. It's just because of Indra's shrap, the wings got clipped off. So actually everything that we see here is Chit only. But because it is in the material world, it has become Jada. But in the spiritual world, everything is Chit. Okay? And there is something called Manvantara Avtaras. You all know that just now as I told, that 4 yugas is equal to 1 Divya Yuga. Like this, 1000 Divya Yugas is equal to 1 Kalpa. That is equal to 12 hours of Brahma. Like that, if Brahma has to live 24 hours, that means he has to live 2 Kalpas. And this way, Brahma lives 360 days. So
100 years.
100 years, no? 100 years, sorry. Yeah, 100 years. So this 100 years or this 1 kalpa is actually divided into 71 manvantaras. Okay, and each manvantara, 1 manu is taking care. And there are 14 manus who will take care. Right now we are in the 28th manvantara, the 7th day. Okay, so like this, in each manvantara there is 1 manu who comes and gives us the codes of religion. Because there are people who are still not in bhakti. So there are 3 things. One is karma kanda, the other is called jnana kanda, the third one is called the upasana kanda. So we are all doing upasana or bhakti. Like that, there are some moral codes for everyone. Because if somebody wants to be a kshatriya or a brahmana or a shudra they also need to know how to live, no, in this material world. I can't just be whimsical and do whatever I want. So Manus will actually lay the foundation and the rules for all the people, for humankind. So for each Manvantara there is one Manu. Like this we have 14 Manus who will rule, and then the Pralaya happens, and then after the mini Pralaya again everything is coming out of the Mahavishnu's Kukshi, and again the Yuga Avtaras, Leela Avtaras, Purusha Avtaras. Purusha Avtaras of course they are there, they are not going back or winding up. And like this all the Yugas, some Avtaras are happening. And there is one called, the last one called Yuga Avtara, which is in Satya Yuga we have the Lord in white, Treta Yuga Lord in red, Dwapar Yuga Lord in black, and Kali Yuga Lord will come in yellow, that is already Mahaprabhu had come and left. And we also have some Vibhutis we have just described as Shaktavesha Avatar. So I'll send the screenshot, because even if I write, I mean people will lose focus. I didn't want you all to lose focus. I'll send this in WhatsApp. Okay, so I'm not proficient enough to take questions, but still if you want to bang me with something, you can do so. And if I'm able to, I'll take my Guru's blessings and try to answer. If you have any question, you can. Otherwise, you want to share something, comment about anything, you can do so.